As a sexologist, the value of Carnival for me goes beyond the intense sexual display, the never-ending party, and the sense of exhibitionism that you see. Those things are superficial from my perspective. In my view, Carnival gives us the opportunity to explore the tools that our ancestors left us that can be used towards achieving sexual wholeness and wellness, or for the responsible use and channeling of sexual energy, as strange as that may seem to some of you. Now, I've enjoyed Carnival vicariously through revelers. I'm usually the outsider looking in, the observer, as the Carnival judge, the researcher, the photographer, and I would experience through my imagination a sense of freedom, of uninhibited sexual and sensual joy, and the fact of fully inhabiting and accepting the body that one has. What about you? How do you enjoy Carnival? Do you have a favorite memory? Do you observe or do you participate? Personally, I don't have one favorite memory of Carnival, but two instances stand out in my mind. One Juve morning in Tobago, I was looking on and enjoying the energy of a huge crowd of mud mass revelers. And there was this one mud mass player who was enjoying Carnival all by himself, away from the crowd. And at one point, he came up really, really close to my camera, as if to say, "Come get dirty with me. Come feel how good this feels." And for a moment, it seemed like it was just the two of us, and I felt only his blissful energy, and the rest of the world dimmed for just a little while. The other experience is of me playing a Tobago Carnival character called the Paper Girl. Now, the Paper Girl is a singing character. She sings about bacchanal and scandal in the village. And I remember how uncomfortable it was for me to portray the kind of rawness and sexuality that was required. But I remember also that by learning to do so, that I began to let go of certain unhelpful and unhealthy sexual inhibitions. In my experience so far, I have noticed how a lot of the narratives and beliefs and the values that we have around Carnival are as a result of harmful and traumatic colonial impositions. But drawing from my training and experience and knowledge in sexology and theater artists, I have come to believe that Carnival gives post-colonial societies tools to reclaim our ancestral wisdom in order to achieve sexual well-being. And let me be clear here, I see our Carnival not just as a form for resisting and rebelling these impositions, but also as a form that can be used for healing, catharsis, and transformation. I see it as a form that's based on the sensitivities, rituals, values, and beliefs of our African ancestors. So here's what I'm saying. Stay with me. Carnival gives room for differentness. It provides us with a framework or a context for letting go of a very limited and binary view of sex and gender. And let me give some historical context. Many of our African, Asian, and First Peoples ancestors, they understood sex and gender in a much more equal and diverse way than we do. And clear evidence of this is seen in their arts, the literature, the laws, and the language of the Tainos, the Aztecs, the Yumas of Central America, the people of India, the Dagara, and other West African societies, just to name a few. There are many, many more. Division of labor in these spaces wasn't based on your genitalia, but based on your tendencies and your inclinations. Men and women often had the same power and often possessed the same role. So anyone could be a chief, a warrior, a caregiver, a healer. Ritualistic cross-dressing had no stigma attached to it, and we see that in Carnival. And if you were intersex, transgender, queer, non-heterosexual in any way, you were actually seen as someone who has a special gift or a special role and purpose in this world. Now think about that. And think about the fact that we have created and continue to create many characters in our Carnival. And the fact that really anyone can play any character. I think we've created all these characters because we've recognized how very diverse people are in the way we experience and engage life. And these characters, they all have meaning and purpose and a role. And so I think Carnival really we should look at it as an analogy for diversity of all types. Now in Carnival, all bodies, but particularly melanated, voluptuous, queer, disabled bodies traditionally despised and disregarded, have a place or can make a space in our carnival. You have a body? Come bring it here. Carnival loves all body types. Carnival also allows us an opportunity to teach empathy and to teach about sex and gender through the study and play of carnival characters. Let's take the Mukujumbis, for example. Mukujumbis are neither male nor female. They have a role, they have a purpose. And anyone can portray that role or that purpose. As a theater arts teacher many years ago, I remember my male students sharing with me how much easier it was for them to understand female issues after having studied and played female carnival characters like Dame Lorraine or Baby Doll or Jamet. So many rich conversations about sex and gender took place after those classes. Here's another thing about Carnival. Carnival gives a space to act out and express the sexual self in order to achieve sexual healing. This is an opportunity to heal from another colonial trauma. Now, the sexuality of people of color was seen as pathological or diseased and animalistic in nature, and we were treated that way. Dark bodies were chained, abused, and dehumanized bodies. And what our ancestors did is they found a way for us to process those sexual issues, even if that might not have been their specific intention. How? We can reclaim and redefine our sexuality on our own terms. We can reassert our sexuality as something powerful and fun and liberating, because we get to dress this body how we want it. We get to move it how we want it. We get to move with whom we want. We get to decide when and how to display any part of our bodies. And this is one form of healing. Through carnival characters, we can choose to express or experience catharsis. I have witnessed women regain power on their own terms and take charge of their own healing through playing Jab Malasi or Black Devil after experiencing sexual violence. The devil gave me a process, she said, of becoming unattractive to the man for a while. I could be aggressive and powerful. I could be sensual and sexual and lewd if I wanted to, and still feel safe. And here's another thing about Carnival. Carnival creates community support and connectedness that is helpful for achieving sexual wholeness and authenticity or realness. A carnival community will sing with you, dance with you, chant with you, hold ceremony with you, have rituals with you, and perhaps help you find some release from your trauma or some meaning in your life challenge or your life journey. You see, that ritualistic group prep that is required for the portrayal of some carnival characters and activities is both a safe space and a brave space. Let's take Kalinda or stick fighting, for example. Kalinda is a locally grown martial arts form. A student of Kalinda once shared with a colleague of mine, Ronald Benjamin, her experience of coming out of the closet, of disclosing the fact that she was not heterosexual. When she came out to her mom, the world was burning down around her, and she began to hum the love ways that she was taught. Now, the love ways are a collection of battle songs, a collection of motivating fight songs that accompany stick fighters. And this person began to hum the love ways of strength and courage.
I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. Living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. I'm living alone in the jungle, snake and lion hard to humble. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle.
You see, for this person, metaphorically, she entered the Gael, the fighting space of Kalinda, in order to come out. Caribbean sexuality is full of conflict. Kalinda, which is an integral part of Carnival, is about conflict and conflict resolution. And so these yard communities where one learns to stick fight and to crack whips and to walk on stilts are spaces to become unshackled from all kinds of sexual fears and uncertainties that you may have, but safe in the container of like-minded individuals who have walked the path before you. One learns to take risks, but in a playful way that you can then transfer to real life. Now, when I think about all of that and all those applications, I've come to one conclusion. Carnival is a remedy. Clinically speaking, I can fit Carnival into Dr. Patty Britton's MEMS model for sex coaching. And here's how. Carnival addresses the mental aspect of sexuality. One can find a character that one can relate to and imagine the thoughts, the beliefs, and attitudes of that character that one might want to analyze, to embody, or perhaps change within oneself. Carnival addresses the emotional aspect of sex. It exposes you to your emotional reality. The music, the lyrics, the atmosphere creates an environment for catharsis from heartbreak, pain, and isolation, or it can lead to the joys and wonders of romance and love. Carnival addresses the body, or the physical aspect of sex. The body bears the burden and remembers trauma even when the brain forgets. And so our movements and our dance connect us to our physicality, to sensations, and to breath. And this brings about a release from the numbness and pain that is stored in the body from trauma. Carnival addresses the energetic aspect of sex. Obviously, it exposes us to the existence of sexual energy, but also to our power to sense and manipulate that energy, and one can learn to transfer it in responsible and creative ways. Carnival addresses the spiritual aspect of sex. The music, the lyrics, the chants, the rituals, and your intentions, strategically combined and integrated, can lead you to such a space of acceptance and bliss that you begin to feel at one with life itself. Kind of sounds like a high mass, right? Like a David Rudder or a Dr. Kevin Brown kind of high mass. We need to take a deeper, closer look at our traditional and authentic carnival arts and really see the gifts that our ancestors have left for us. What can you take that is safely healing for you? Our horrifying colonial history has divorced us from seeing spirituality and sexuality, particularly carnivalesque sexuality. But our ancestors saw the erotic as simply another aspect of life. They saw sexual activities as a way of communing with divine energies. And so Carnival really offers everyone a process, a means, a way of letting go and releasing all kinds of sex negativity. Now, if we have inherited generational trauma, then surely we have also inherited generational wisdom. And based on that, it is our ancestral models that we should be using to develop contemporary descriptions of sex and gender. Carnival gives everyone the opportunity to unmask through masking, to learn how to live authentically through learning how to play, to learn how to live without fear by taking the risk to be vulnerable. The best sex and the healthiest sexuality one can ever have is when one is open and honest, unmasked and authentic, when one feels safe to play and be vulnerable. Perhaps Carnival is a remedy for you. Thank you.